You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network.
This is Rod Mahood, your in-game voice of the Niagara IceDogs, and you're listening to the Dog Pound Podcast on the Armchair GM Sports Network, your podcast source for all game analysis, team interviews, and up-to-date news regarding the Niagara IceDogs.
Perlini! Overtime! IceDogs win! They score! Verhaeghe was also jamming away. It's a power play goal for the IceDogs. And they score! Ho-Sang, first goal as an IceDog. Strom stops Shipley. Ritchie scores! Gets it to Akil Thomas. Thomas has the angle coming in. He scores!
Welcome into the Dog Pound Podcast, the official podcast of your Niagara IceDogs, proudly brought to you by Global Pet Foods, where pets are undeniably part of the family in all four of their great Niagara region locations, right here on the Armchair GM's Sports Network. My name is Brandon Caputo. I'm the host of the program. Thank you to everybody listening today on your favorite on-demand audio platform, and as well to those watching today on the video version on YouTube. So if you're enjoying the video versions of our podcast, make sure to hit like, hit subscribe, and smash that bell. We're on our way to 1,000 subscribers, so to reaching that milestone going forward here on the channel with all of our network content. So we thank you very much for the support there. And as well, make sure to give us a follow on X at Dog Pound Podcast. Stay up to date with all of our IceDogs coverage. And as well on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and all that good stuff for you guys on social media with our graphics and our clips from our episodes. So we've got a quick episode here to go over OHL opening week for the Niagara IceDogs, who began the season on the road with 2 games up in Ottawa to play the 67s, and then in Kingston to play the Frontenacs on the Sunday afternoon, coming away with 4 points to start their season. An encouraging start here for the Niagara IceDogs as a team who've gone through obviously a couple of tough years in the last little bit here, so it's nice for them to get off to a hot start here and have some very big contributors with that. We'll talk about that a little bit. We'll also speak to head coach Ben Boudreau on his thoughts following the weekend as well for a weekend wrap-up. And the second part of today's show, we're going to hear from IceDogs forward Kevin He, who's going to join us live on the show to talk about his whole experience away at Winnipeg Jets training camp, getting into a preseason game, getting that assist, and coming back into his third OHL season just so much more focused and just locked in, as you saw in the first weekend, scoring 3 goals in the first 2 games, really taking over that Kingston game. We'll also ask him about Akil Thomas as well, who was on the show a couple weeks ago, talking about their relationship, as well as his whole draft experience at the Sphere, and as well some players to look at that he's catching his eye within that room. We'll start off here with just recapping quickly the IceDogs 2 games up in Ottawa and Kingston. First off, in Ottawa, Owen Flores came up with a massive performance, 48 saves on 50 shots to be able to get the IceDogs that victory. They were outshot 50-31, but they were 3 for 4 on the power play, and that's a big point of emphasis that we'll talk about with IceDogs head coach Ben Boudreau, is that this was a power play that finished dead last year, running at only 10%. So the fact that they were able to get 3 goals on the power play in their opening game is very, very encouraging. And we'll see how that kind of develops going forward. But Mike Levin was the one who eventually got the IceDogs one of those power play goals. Kevin He also got them on the board, and Andre Loshko with the game winner on the power play, assisted by Kevin He, were the ones that were able to break through for the IceDogs on opening night against the Ottawa 67s and hold on to that 3-2 victory despite being outshot 19-2 in the final period by the 67s. The IceDogs were able to shut it down, and Owen Flores was to well-earned second star there for what he was able to do on opening night there. The overage goaltender really showing that he can carry Niagara on their back when he needs to in the net. And it'd be nice for Owen Flores because he's been here through kind of the tough last couple of years for the IceDogs. And it's nice to see him get rewarded early on in the season. But it was nice to also see contributions, as I mentioned, from Kevin He, Loshko, and Levin on the goals. Alex Asadorian picked up 2 assists, and Matt Virgilio also picked up a pair of assists as well. So encouraging start there in their opening game in Ottawa. And then they went down to Kingston on the Sunday afternoon and were able to snatch a victory away from this Kingston Frontenac's team. They were down 2-1 in the third period when Kevin He, who you'll hear from later in the episode, scored that goal from Andre Lochko to get the game evened up on his own rebound, being able to pot that past the goaltender Vicari. And then on the next shift, Kevin He was able to get the puck in the zone, skated around, and you really saw the step Kevin He's taken, as a game breaker in this league, and showing just how he's so much confidence right now with going away to Winnipeg Jets camp, being drafted. And you can see he came back to the OHL with a purpose, and he skated around the zone and just fired it past Vicari. So 2 goals on back-to-back shifts for Kevin He, getting the game tied and then getting the game winner there was really nice to see from the IceDogs number 11, assistant captain this year. Really took the game over at that point and really showed IceDog fans why he's somebody that they're going to be so excited to see take a big step into his third year here after scoring 30 goals last season. So when you look at it, then Andre Lochko was able to secure it with the empty netter, and then Max Crete, the second-round pick rookie, not exactly how he drew it up, but gets his first career OHL goal in the empty net. So that was nice to see for Max Crete there. The IceDogs were outshot 37-34, but in the third period there, they really took the game over in the second half there and were able to snatch the victory away from the Kingston Frontenac. So 2 big road victories to start the season for the Niagara IceDogs, and that's really, really encouraging to see from that aspect. Andre Lochko had a goal and 2 assists, 5 points total in the 2 games. Kevin He had 2 goals as well. As I mentioned, 3 on the weekend. Alex Asadorian picked up another point, so he had a goal and 2 assists on the weekend. Jack Brody also picked up an assist. Matt Virgilio, Brady Wasson on the empty netter. But it's nice to see contributions from this IceDogs group, but you see already the emergence of guys like Lochko and Kevin He are really going to be top-end game breakers. And this, we haven't even seen that. The Rubric and Zadas hit their stride yet. So it's really going to be exciting to see what this whole group is able to do. They have 3 lines that are very dangerous, that can really score at will. They've got some high-end goal scorers on those lines, and I think that's what Head Coach Ben Boudreau has kind of emphasized there, is spreading the wealth throughout the lineup, because they do have some really good depth there with guys being able to be contributors up and down the lineup. So you saw it in the first week a little bit there, and hopefully we start to see more of those guys really start to show out as they go into their second week. It's going to be tough. They've got the Eastern Conference champion Oshawa Generals on Friday up in Oshawa, and then they finally get their home opener next Sunday against the Brampton Steelheads, who are a very formidable team going into the season. So a tough stretch to begin the year for the Niagara IceDogs, but we'll see if they're kind of up to the task to build off of a strong opening weekend in that regard. But the IceDogs come away with 2 victories in Ottawa and Kingston. So we're going to take you to our post-game with IceDogs head coach Ben Boudreau, brought to you by Wild Bill's Auto Repair, helping customers stay safe and confident on the road since 2012 in honor of the late William Robert Hunter. Here is the IceDogs head coach with a wrap-up on his thoughts on OHL opening weekend up in Ottawa and Kingston. Back in the Wild Bill's Auto Repair post-game show with the head coach of the Niagara IceDogs, Ben Boudreau, following their 2 wins in Ottawa and Kingston to open up the 24-25 season. Coach, thanks for doing this. I know it's been a long couple of days here, and being able to come out with the 4 points is really exciting, and from what you guys have been through to get to this point, you don't want to get too ahead of yourselves, but I'm sure this is a really good feeling for the group all around.
I mean, everybody's having a lot of fun right now, and I think if you ask everybody, I would doubt that they disagree with me, but winning is a lot more fun than losing. So we're riding the bus home from Kingston. The sun's about to be set, but this is the opportunity where you can stop and pat yourself on the back and say good job, and the guys did just that. A great job this weekend.
Yeah, and quickly talk about Owen Flores. 87 shots in the 2 games that he faced, only gave up 4 goals. When you have a goaltender that can give you a lot of confidence back there in his overage year, and you still said it's going to be a healthy competition with him and Charlie Robertson, but encouraging start from your goaltender from the first week.
I mean, listen, the guy was doing exactly what we expected him to do. And that's give us a chance to win, especially as an overager. And, I challenged Owen this morning, pulled him aside, and actually, sorry, it was at dinner last night, but we pulled him aside. We went up for a team dinner, and I said, Charlie's a great goalie. He had a great performance, and I've told the goalies both. I mean, give us the best chance to win. You're going to get the best chance to play. And Owen did that Friday. So I said, but historically, he hadn't followed up a great performance back to back. And so I said, great job Friday, but give it to us again. And then he did just that. I mean, back to back great performances for the weekend, and Owen stepped in and gave her team a chance to win.
And offensively, the two guys that stood out for all the right reasons were Kevin He and Andre Loshko. Loshko with 5 points in the 2 games, and then Kevin He with 3 goals in the 2 games, and really took over in that game against Kingston where he scored 2 goals in under a minute there to get the game tied and then get you guys the eventual game winner. Can you just talk about those two guys with NHL affiliation to their name really coming through for your offense this week to start?
Yeah, I mean, Kevin is like I said, Kevin is doing exactly just what we expect him to do all fours. But Andre Loshko, not many guys knew about him, and he's a unique scenario just because he's a European and an overager. He takes up both kind of spots on the roster where you can only have 2 European spots and 3 overagers, but it just so happens that we have the opportunity to bring him in, some good networking connections to our management and our owner. Andre's been a great impact guy, and getting to know him, he speaks great English, although he played in the French league last year, and coming from European, it must have been a tough mix, but he comes to Niagara with an open mind, a great ideology to buy in, be a great person, better teammate, and he's big, he wins face-offs. He brings an element to this team where I don't think our management gets enough credit for adding something so important, so big to the first 2 wins without having to give anything up. I mean, that's a big win for the IceDogs, knowing how big of an impact he's going to have for us this year.
Yeah, definitely a nice find there off waivers from the QMJHL. Something that you mentioned that had to improve if you guys were going to be a better all-around group was the power play. I know it was 0 for 4 in the game against Kingston, but getting 3 power play goals up in Ottawa, just how much were you excited to see that? And for a team that had a 10% power play last year and a notable thing that has to get better, how encouraged are you with the start of what the power play looks like so far?
I honestly, it was the difference in game 1. That's the reason we got 2 points on the board, is because their power play came alive in the second period. And even though that we didn't score in Kingston, I really thought we generated good opportunities. I wasn't concerned because we were clicking. Puck just doesn't go in sometimes. But after 2 games, you're 3 for 8 and operating just under 50%. When, like you said, small sample size, albeit only 2 games, but over 68 games, this team was 10% last year. It took 10 power plays just to get 1 goal. It's taken us 8 to get 3. And you still look at it, that's pretty good numbers. But we'll have to find a way to be consistent. So albeit it's a short sample size, we did extremely well. But now let's turn our attention towards it and let's get back on the horse and score some more goals on the power play.
Quickly about your new revamped decor in the offseason, bringing in basically 5 new defensemen there. You brought in the Van Vliets, the Brodies, the Virgilios, the Scotts, and then the drafting of Frasca. So what have you liked so far from that revamped decor, and is it that exactly the way that you want it to kind of look like as we go for the rest of the season here through the first week?
Yeah, I think it's defense that's really going to help us win games. I mean, everybody talks about some of the star players that we got up front, but our whole decor led by Van Vliet. I mean, as the assistant captain, he's tough, he's physical, he's a presence, he's a man out there, and that's the way that you should be as an overager. You should be physically dominant. You should be confident in the room. His presence on the ice and in the bench is, just so noticeable. It's been unbelievable. We have guys in positions to have success. Blair Scott, I think an unsung hero over the last 2 games. Just you want to know why Owen Flores has had so much success is because he's seeing the puck, which big Van Vliet and big Scotty right there are making sure they box out well and allowing Flores to make the first save. There's not a lot of rebounds, so it's all mixing in together right now. And then we have guys that are moving the puck. I mean, Shanowski, Virgilio with 3 assists through 2 games. Browdy quarterback in the power play. I mean, those 5 guys have played really heavy while we spotted in our young guys, DeWater and Frasco, with success. This is the making of a good team, and 2 veteran goaltenders, and you still look at where all our youth is, especially on the left side. I mean, after Kevin He at 18 years old, you got a 17-year-old in Galliano, second line left wing. You got a 16-year-old in Wasden, third line left wing. Crete, 16-year-old, fourth line left wing, and they're all playing heavy minutes and contributing through 2 games. I mean, all signs are pointing in the right direction for the Niagara IceDogs as far as the way we're trending right now. So small sample size, but we can't win 3 games until next Friday, or at least have an opportunity. So we're going to sit back and try to enjoy it on this bus ride home.
And lastly for you, Coach, before I let you go, just quickly on the leadership group that you named. Obviously, Gavin Bryant back as the captain, but still in recovery mode and being a captain as much as he can off the ice and helping you in that sense. But Kevin He, Noah Van Vliet, and Ryan Rubrick were given the A's this year. What made you and the coaching staff believe in those 3 choices to, I guess, be elected as the alternates with to help out Gavin Bryant there?
Yeah, one, I've been lucky enough to have the opportunity to go through training camps, and in the minor leagues, it seems like you almost have to name a captain year after year, and anytime that we've done it early, sometimes it's really backfired. So when we had the fortunate opportunity where you bring a new guy in like Van Vliet, and you have 5 weeks to really get to know him, his family, his grandmother lives in Niagara on the lake, and you see the way he carries himself and conducts himself, and you see how other teammates talk about him. It was a really easy and logical choice from an organizational standpoint, the way he interacts with the coaching staff and the support staff and the front office. It's he's got a way about him that you can only get as veteran experience. So I mean, he leads by example and was a natural fit, especially to represent the as you said, revamped decor. And Kevin now being I would say the face of the franchise, with being the IceDogs draft pick, not going out and acquiring him, highest Chinese-born drafted to the NHL. His leadership, both on and off the ice and in the community, is self-explainable. And and Ryan Rubrick, as you look forward to the player he's going to become eventually, coming in behind Kevin, being the another face of the franchise, setting rookie records. I mean, it wasn't because of numbers, but the way they conduct themselves, both in practice, their effort, who they are as people, both away from the rink, on the ice, and in the community. Were all really logical choices as far as leadership jumped out. So I thought they were easy choices this year, just because that's who they show they were through their actions, and even when the coach isn't looking. So very fortunate to have some really good leaders on this group.
Well, Coach, thanks so much for giving us the time and analysis there. I know it's been a long weekend, and I know you're on the way home from a long bus ride. So thanks for doing this, and look forward to chatting with you on Sunday. Enjoy the victory, and I'm sure you're not satisfied, but I'm sure it's a nice feeling.
Thanks, Brandon. Yeah, we want more. So we might have the toughest weekend we have all season coming up. So we got to keep our foot down on the pedal here. But thanks for the call.
There was IceDogs head coach Ben Boudreau on the Wild Bills auto repair postgame, recapping the weekend, and a lot of good thoughts there from the IceDogs head coach. But lastly, they were not satisfied with just 2 wins. They want to continue to build on this, and they got a really tough week coming up with Oshawa and the Brampton Steelheads. So it's going to be a real test to see where they stack up with some of these top teams within the Eastern Conference. But really encouraging start there, and he talked about the leadership group there and Kevin He and what those guys are going to bring on and off the ice this year, and just the encouraging signs so far from the power play and from goaltender Owen Flores as well. So with that said, we're going to take a commercial break on today's show, and then we're going to come back and we're going to hear from IceDogs forward Kevin He. We're going to have a chat with him on this upcoming season, what the last couple of months have been like for him, going away to Jets camp, being drafted, coming back to Niagara for training camp, and then obviously being back here full-time now, going into his 3rd OHL season and looking to take a big step on and off the ice here for the next step of his hockey journey. So stay right here. Be right back on the Dog Pound Podcast, the official podcast of your Niagara IceDogs, proudly brought to you by Global Pet Foods, where pets are undeniably part of the family.
Pets bring immense joy to our homes, becoming an integral part of our families. But this living, loving experience often requires a little extra care and attention. That's where Global Pet Foods comes in, with owners and staff ready to support you every step of the way. Check out one of their locations today. 3643 Portage Road in Niagara Falls, 160 Highway 20 in Font Hill, or 400 Scott Street and 344 Glendale Avenue in St. Catharines. Global Pet Foods, where pets are undeniably part of the family. Proud to sponsor the Dog Pound Podcast, the official podcast of the Niagara IceDogs.
The great guys over at Hockey Stick Man are sponsoring this video. If you play hockey but are sick of paying upwards of $400 for top-end sticks, check these guys out. There's seriously no better place to shop. The guys are fun, easy, and offer a stress-free experience from start to finish. They get pro stock sticks from major junior teams right up to the NHL teams and sell them for half the price that the same stick would sell for at a retail store. To further support their mission of saving hockey families money, they offer closeout options, which entail taking last year's retail models and blowing them out for less than wholesale prices. It's literally the best prices on the internet for their sticks. And the best sticks of all may be their Pro Blackout series, which provide a top-end stick with no graphics and literally less than half the price of a branded top-end retail model. It's always been their best-selling stick despite super cool pro stock options. It's a no-brainer to shop with these guys, and trust me, they are beauties. Head over to hockeystickman.ca/thearmchairgm and get $15 off your first order. That's hockeystickman.ca/thearmchairgm to get an additional $15 off your first order when you sign up on their website. Check out our friends at Hockey Stick Man.
Cully's Original Sports Bar is your ultimate destination for unbeatable food, drinks, and sports action in Niagara. Whether you're gearing up for a big game, winding down after a day at the office, or just looking for a lively spot to catch up with friends, Cully's has you covered. Their menu is packed with mouth-watering options, from classic pub favorites to unique chef specials, all served alongside a wide selection of craft beers, cocktails, and daily drink deals. With multiple TVs broadcasting the latest sports events, you won't miss a minute of the action, no matter where you sit. Cully's Original Sports Bar, a proud supporter of Niagara IceDogs hockey. Whether you're gearing up for the game or celebrating a big win, Cully's is the place to be before and after every IceDogs matchup. Check out their menu online at cullys.com. Give them a call at 905-684-1771 or check them out on Facebook, X, or Instagram for more information. Located at 223 St. Paul Street in the heart of downtown St. Catharines, just minutes from the Meridian Center. Open daily Sunday to Thursday till midnight and Friday to Saturday till 2 a.m. for those late night eaters. Cully's, it happens here.
Fuel up your day with Gale's Gas Bars. They're your go-to gas stations in the Niagara region. Remember, at Gale's, they're not just a gas station. They're a local tradition. Whether you're hitting the road or staying cozy at home, choose Gale's. Gale's Gas Bars provide reliable fuel that keeps you moving. Stop in for quality you can trust and service with a smile. Don't settle for less. Head to Gale's Gas Bars today, because when it comes to fuel,
You're going to Gales!
learn more at gales.ca.
Are you an employer looking to hire? Let the Niagara Employment Help Center save you valuable time and money by making your hiring process easier. Their services include free job postings in-house and on our website, fill job vacancies quickly and efficiently, access to a bank of potential employees, reduce employment costs, and financial incentives may be available to offset the cost of new hire training. Check out their website at ehc.on.ca or call 905-358-0021 for more information. The Niagara Employment Help Center, helping people find work since 1983. This Employment Ontario program is funded by the Government of Ontario.
This is Kevin He.
This is Brady Waslin.
This is Ethan Zader.
It's Owen Flores.
This is the Dog Pound Podcast.
The official podcast of the Niagara IceDogs.
Welcome back to segment 2 of today's Dog Pound Podcast episode. Joined alongside the IceDogs forward and recently drafted for the Winnipeg Jets on a special player interview that we have on the show today, and that would be Kevin He. Kev, thanks a lot for doing this today. I know it was a long 4 days, I guess, for you guys up there in Ottawa and Kingston, but how exciting was it to come away with 4 points to start your year? You've been through it with this team the last 2 years as a 16 and 17-year-old. So just how good was that feeling all around for you personally and for the group as well to get off on the right foot here?
Yeah, I mean, start the season off huge with 4 points. I think that's the goal we had going into the weekend, and to be able to come away with that, I think everyone's pretty stoked.
Yeah, absolutely. And you personally, it was a pretty good weekend for you. 3 goals in the 2 games, and in that game against Kingston, it just felt like you were really feeling it in that third period. In the latter half, you tied the game, and then on the next shift, you basically skated around the entire end, and then fired one for the eventual game winner. Just Is that something that you've really added to your game as far as being a game breaker and being able to really, see the ice and take the game over, as opposed to maybe your first 2 years in the league?
Yeah, I think around the money. I think coming into my third year, you kind of want to do more. You want to be kind of the guy to be relied on, especially in those tough situations. Or we're down 2-1 at the time, so you want to be that person that the coach could look at you and be like, it's time to really take over the game. And I think our line played really well, especially in that third period. But all throughout the game, I think we were there the first 2 periods. We had a lot of good chances. Just couldn't bear down the chances, but they came through with us.
And you have basically a brand new decor. Can you talk to us about what it's been like with those guys back there, the Virgilios, the Brodies? Noah Van Vliet's been a thorn in your side personally with the Bulldogs and the Sudbury Wolves there the last couple of years, but and even Blair Scott as well. Like what have those guys added to the back end that maybe you just didn't have the last couple of years, and it's really shown good signs early on?
Yeah, I mean, for anyone that watched the game, I think we noticed their impact right away. They brought in game in day in, day out. So especially, 2 tough teams in the top 10, Ottawa and Kingston. It wasn't an easy matchup. So those guys really came through and made it a lot easier for the forwards like us. So
yeah, absolutely. And when you talk about the rookies as well, like you played as a 16-year-old in this league, so you know how difficult that transition can be. So what have you thought so far of guys like Brady Wasslin, Max Creek getting his first career goal in an empty net? I'm sure that's not the way you scripted it, but it doesn't matter how. That just ask how many. So and then Jacob Frasca getting in the lineup as a young defenseman. That's definitely not an easy thing to do. Again, 3 more 16-year-olds that you added from the 4 last year. What have you seen from this rookie class so far, and anything you can tell us about what you're expecting of those guys?
Yeah, I think especially those like the rookie class, the 08s, I think they're handling really well. So a lot of props for me to them. And then obviously, like you said, Krieger got his first one. I thought Wazzy had a really good game, and Frasca got a game in against Ottawa. I think just kind of earning that trust, starting on early. I was a 16-year-old once, so I think they're handling it really well. So huge props to them.
And something that happened this week, you were, I guess, elected or given the honor of wearing an A again this year. Just talk about, what your thoughts were of that, and how you're going to kind of go about having an A on your chest. Obviously, the captain, Gavin Bryant, is still on the shelf right now. So do you take a little bit more responsibility on the ice, just given that that your current captain is not able to play with you guys right now?
Yeah, obviously it's a huge honor again. I had the honor of wearing the letter last year, but I think just kind of just be myself. I think that's probably the biggest thing I've always told myself, and just stay grounded, stay humble, and kind of just really not change the person I've been the last 3 years. So that's kind of my mindset and mentality going into it.
And speaking of captaincy, we had Akil Thomas on the show 2 weeks ago, and he spoke very highly of you, said that you guys have trained together in the past, and he kind of views you as a little brother, and he really is looking forward to keeping tabs on you and hoping that you have a big breakout year. Just first off, talk about how that feels to have somebody of Akil Thomas' stature, NHL player, golden goal scorer for Team Canada, and obviously as well a former Niagara IceDogs great captain. So talk a little bit about that, and then a little bit about your relationship as well in the summer.
Yeah, I mean, to have someone like that, speak that way about me, I think obviously it's a huge honor. And I've known Akil actually a little bit, like you said, we did train in the summer and we work out in the same gym. So I got to know him a little bit. And then just for me, it was just all about trying to learn as much as I can, what it takes to, reach that next level. And he's been through it. He's been through the process. So I'm just trying to learn as much as I can.
Both have played for Niagara. Does he ever ask you questions about Niagara, or do you ask him questions about his time here, like when the place was rocking with playoff games? Like, is that something that you kind of talk to him about, and then you guys obviously want to be a playoff team as well and have those experiences?
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about Niagara quite a few times, just me asking how it was when he played, and obviously him asking me how it is now in the present. So we talked about it a little bit, and obviously that playoff is where we want to be this year. So
we're gonna go back a little bit, Kev, because I want to ask you a little bit about about that draft experience at the Sphere. We had you on in training camp and you talked about, getting drafted and things like that. But I want to talk about, away from the actual draft process. Like, what was it like at the Sphere event setup and everything like that? Like, what are you thinking about as you're sitting there and hoping to get drafted to an NHL team? Like, what was that whole experience like, getting down in Vegas, getting to the Sphere, and just living through something that you'll take with the rest of your life?
Yeah, it's, honestly, the Sphere was, pretty surreal. I think I've seen a few pictures of it, but once you get in there, it kind of blows your mind away. But draft day came, and I was honestly pretty nervous, but I was also pretty hungry because I didn't even eat anything that day. So I was more hungry than I was nervous. But when Winnipeg's calling my name out, I was pretty stoked, and obviously a huge honor. But just to be there with my family, and obviously the whole staff from Niagara was there as well. It's pretty surreal moment to have everyone there cheering you on. So, did
you get to do anything else in Vegas, like walk up and down the Strip, see anything, go to any restaurants? Like, was there anything else you were able to do there?
Yeah, I went to a few restaurants, mostly walked around with my brother. So just kind of, take it all in, and, my first time there. So.
Absolutely. And then shifting from Vegas to Winnipeg, you came back here to Niagara for training camp, and then you went off to Winnipeg Jets training camp. What did you kind of learn from that whole experience there? And when you touched down in Winnipeg, it's still September, October, so it's not that cold yet. But was it a little bit different going to Winnipeg, Manitoba?
Yeah, I mean, my whole experience, I learned a lot. I just, as a player coming into my first, training camp, you just try to soak it all in. And that's kind of what I did. Went to the rookie tournament, went to main camp, and then just trying to soak it all in and try to learn things that, you watch the Scheifeleys, the Kyle Connor, and you're out there skating with them. And you just try to pick up on what they do and what kind of, habits that they have, and try to add it to your own game.
I know you got to catch up probably with another former member of the IceDogs organization, and Luke Vink. Did you get to talk to him a little bit and say hi? I'm sure he's a photography guy, so he probably got a couple good pictures of you as well. But what was it like, kind of deja vu, seeing him up there in Winnipeg from your Niagara days?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy. I'm really happy for him, actually. He was, obviously in Niagara. He was with me at the draft, and I was in Winnipeg. I saw him at, main camp, and then I ended up catching a game with them as well. One of the preseason games, he was up there, so in the press box, I got to say hi to him. So
yeah, definitely doing big things up there in Winnipeg, and hopefully you're going to be joining him there sooner rather than later. But you got in that preseason game, Kev, and you were able to get an assist on one of the goals. Talk about getting into an NHL preseason game, what that kind of meant for you, and I guess just how different it was taking another step and another level when you get out there on the ice against guys that are at the NHL and AHL caliber level, and being able to contribute with an assist as well.
Yeah, I mean, the whole experience is pretty surreal. Just, be able to play my first game. And but I think the biggest thing for me was just obviously adjusting to the speed and physicality of the game. Everyone's much bigger, much stronger, so you really got to dial down on the details, and really, you can't take a shift off. That's probably the biggest thing for me. And obviously I was pretty happy to contribute to the team, on my first game. So pretty happy.
Now that you got a taste of it, just how much are you looking forward to getting back here to Niagara and having a great season, and then going in there and trying to make the team, out of camp the next couple of years? Just, you got a little bit of an experience of it. How much do you want more of that now going forward?
Absolutely. I'm trying to take what I learned from camp and to bring it back here, and kind of just really keep working on my game and just continue on my development path.
What have you thought of head coach Ben Boudreau, new assistant coaching staff there with Dan Paille, a Stanley Cup winning player, and he brought a new assistant coach as well? Like, what has been the messaging from the coaching staff as a whole, and what have you thought of Ben Boudreau getting, acclimated as his first full-time season as the head coach? Came in a little bit in the middle of last season, and it's hard to kind of implement things on the fly. So what have you thought of being able to have a full off-season and full camp of what he expects from you guys? And is there anything that he's asked you specifically to work on as you go into your third year in the OHL?
Yeah, I think overall it's been a solid summer and especially a huge start to the year. Like, Paille, he was running the PK, and I think, we've seen against Ottawa, we played really, our power play was there, PK was there, just all throughout, the systems. I think everyone was bought in, and they made sure everyone's bought in. So just to be able to play with such a solid system, I think they made the game easier for us. We didn't have to guess on any plays. We just knew what kind of play they were giving us and how to react and respond to them. And, I think as far as what me and Booty talked, is just, me coming in and being a leader on this team, for this year, and just doing whatever I can to help the team win. And he said a huge thing at the start of the training camp is, team success is going to bring individual success. And I'm a huge believer in that. So I think it's a, great quote for our team this year. And just everyone just bought in.
And what's been the vibe? Because you've been there the last 2 years, Kev, as a rookie when you were a 16-year-old, and then last year 17-year-old. It's been a tough couple of years, and digging down deep and being able to persevere through the tough times. And your character really comes out when things aren't going well. So, what have you maybe learned, and the group itself have learned from the last couple of years, that A, you don't want to go through that again, and B, that it's going to be different inside and outside that room, that's really going to have you guys take a big step this year as a group and in the standings as well in the league?
Yeah, kind of just, turning the page. That first 2 years wasn't great, team-wise and performance-wise, but, we turned the page. This is a new year. There's a lot of high hopes, a lot of energy, a lot of players we added. I feel like, really helped us a lot, especially we've seen this past weekend. So, kind of just turning the page and focusing on what, we can control as a team and what we can do right now.
And what's a player that's really catching your eye in that room right now? Maybe one player that maybe is flying under the radar or talked about on a nightly basis. Like, who's somebody that you've seen putting in the work on and off the ice, in the weight room and in practice, that you see, okay, this guy is ready to take a big step this year?
Honestly, I talked a lot with Matthew Paris and his game, and we saw right from Kingston, he does a lot of the details right. I think I really respect him for that. He might not be the flashiest plays. We can see on the second goal, he got in front to screen the goalie. And that's kind of what, I really didn't pick any corners. I just shot at the net, and it went in because he was screening that goalie. And, it's not an easy thing to do, like, getting to the net, getting into those gritty areas. But he's been doing them really well this weekend, and that's what's helping the team most.
Quickly, you're playing with Matthew Paris on the same line. I want to ask you quickly about the other line mate, the newcomer there, Andre Loshko, picked up off waivers from the QMJHL, and he seems to be a heck of a find from the management staff. What have you liked from Loshko? He as well as is an NHL draft pick with the Seattle Kraken. What element has he kind of added to the group there, and you getting to play alongside him on the line? You guys have had some chemistry there, and then obviously on the power play as well. So what has it been like having Loshko to be in that room playing alongside you?
Yeah, I mean, I've actually known Loshko for a couple of years now, just training with him in the summer. We trained together, so when I heard he was coming, I was really happy. Yeah. So just, play with him. He's really high IQ, really high vision, like, player, and he's a really smart player. So, he's be able to find me, especially we saw in that first play. He made a really nice cut move and then found me backdoor. So, just, made the game easier for me playing with them. So I think he's a hell of a player.
So I know you had a fun weekend up there in Ottawa and Kingston. You guys did the penitentiary tour as well. Is there a funny moment from one of your teammates that you wanted to kind of let us know on the show?
I don't know. Gally, I feel like he's always up to something.
Gallianov and Zada just always up to stuff.
Yeah, always something. But I don't know. You might have to ask them what they've been up to. I wasn't following along too closely with them, so.
All right. That's fair. That's fair. So before I let you go, Kev, do you have any questions for me?
No questions for you.
No questions for me. Okay, I like that. That's good. You don't put me on the spot. Anyways, that's IceDogs assistant captain Kevin He and Winnipeg Jets newly drafted player. Kev, thanks a lot for doing this. I know it's a great start to the season for you guys, but you want to keep it up for the rest of the 66 games. So great start to the season. Congratulations, and look forward to seeing you and the team take a big step forward this year in the standings. And appreciate you coming on and talking to IceDog fans as well.
Thank you for having me, Caputo.
There was our chat with IceDogs forward Kevin He. Hopefully you guys really enjoyed hearing what Kevin had to say about some of his teammates on and off the ice, and just about his mindset going into his third OHL season and being able to get in that NHL game in the preseason with Winnipeg, getting a little bit of taste of that, now knowing what it's going to take for him to get there full-time going into the future. But thank you to everybody for tuning in to another installment of the Dog Pound Podcast right here on the Armchair GM Sports Network. We'll make sure to have our post-game recap show for you guys following this Sunday's home opener against the Brampton Steelheads. We'll be there for our live post-game show on YouTube Live, so make sure to look for that as well later in the week. But other than that, that's going to wrap up today's show. Make sure to give us a follow at Dog Pound Podcast on X, as well as on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, by searching Armchair GM Sports Network. And thank you to those today who chose to listen to us on your favorite on-demand audio platform, and those watched today on the YouTube version. Make sure to hit like, hit subscribe, and smash that bell to keep supporting our content here on the network. But until next time, my name is Brandon Caputo, signing off for another special edition of the Dog Pound Podcast and our episode with IceDogs forward Kevin He. We'll talk to you again very soon. You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network.